Me a old girl and me know good life.
Lady, and a clothes and boot and also a car. You know what they not have? A happy childhood days, and that them young girl can't beat with. If them for sit down and reminisce the time and the patience where the mother spend with blood clot them not get that where we get. No matter if you get the dust pot and the buckle and the bumper clot and pussy clot, them look a girl and not get it. Cause them size up with all them mother and talk blood clot back.
We couldn't talk back.
Talk backward.
Talk backward, kick and lick.
Hello. Do your mother wait till you like a beard. You don't see the shower curtain, you don't see blood clot. You want to have a jet and a Jackie Chan running in the bathroom. All in
your sleep.
Hello, sometimes you have to sleep all and eat the blood clot. Then you have to keep all one here and walk more. Because we are more dangerous. Bumbo clot.
Stick a chucky on the broom, stick a chucky on there.
Hello, if you don't get it in the night, you get it all in the morning before you go school. Hello, yeah, your mother like a bus stop. You just frightened one blood clot box across your draw corner. What them?
Yo, Atman!
So I call him out, you not even realize.
Atman!
Hey, your mother premeditate me. Hello.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The video that you just heard is of a conversation that was held in a some community, where a couple of ladies were sitting down and they're reminiscing from the past and comparing the past, the present. The difference between generations, the difference between how persons act back in the days when parents used to take the time and discipline their children, bend them before they break. However, nowadays, 2025 generation of Viper, them broke out like sore. So this lady was simply saying, and a lot of persons might disagree with it based on how things are comparing things to today. They are going to say, well, back in the day, that was A, B, U, S, E. And people, yes, it was. But did they get the desired, required results? Were the children back in the days different compared to now? Were the children more disciplined? Were there less of immoral stuff? Violence, all sorts of criminality? Yes, it was. But we see the generations have changed drastically for the worse, especially this Gen Z new generation of Viper. So the lady I make you simply know, say back in the days, mothers and fathers did not play. The community actually raised person, and even though she said it with some cussing words. So the moral of the story is this, and the point that this lady or these lady are trying to let you know. Back in the days, the tough love work. This is a truth, unadulterated, raw truth, true love, tough love that actually work. Maybe that is what this new generation needs. People, let me know in the comment section. If you think back in the days, it used to be A, B, U, S, E, but it worked, we got the desired, required result, versus today's youth, which are indisciplined in every sort of the way. Point blank and period.
A Jamaican woman convicted of killing her romantic rival in the United States has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. 31-year-old Sekinia Thompson was sentenced on Monday for the July 2022 stabbing death of 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson in Tamarack, Florida. Thompson was found guilty of first-degree murder in October after a jury took just 1 hour to return its verdict. Prince Moore has details.
Prosecutors told the court that Thompson traveled from New York to South Florida days before the killing with the intention of confronting Hodgson, who was dating her former boyfriend. They say Thompson went to Hodgson's apartment about 5 a.m., confronted her about the relationship, and stabbed her to death. During Monday's sentencing hearing, 10 family members and friends of the victim addressed the court. Hodgson's cousin, Melanie Johnson, described the killing as wicked and evil, saying the sentence ensures Thompson will never again be a threat to society. Another cousin, Alicia Mitchell, said while the pain of the loss will never fade, the family is relieved that the person responsible is now being held accountable. At the trial, Thompson's attorney argued that she acted in self-defense and was trying to protect her unborn child. However, prosecutors countered that she planned the attack, attempted to disguise herself with a mask and hat, and used a fake Uber account to travel to and from the scene. Thompson had claimed that she blacked out and did not remember the killing, a claim strongly criticized by members of the victim's family.
So the next thing that is popping in the news, based on the audio that you heard from the professional journalist, is of an incident that took place between a Jamaican lady living in New York, have a very successful business, was in a relationship with a man. That man and her broke up. However, the man decided he was going to date somebody else. That person lived in a Tamarack. Tamarack is in Florida. So this lady premeditatedly had conversation with this lady, meaning the victim. The victim blocked her. She found her way. Jumped on a jumbo jet plane, went to Florida. Confronted this lady at her apartment. Like you hear, the evidence is that she took a Uber in which she used a fake account. She then used a kitchen utensil and juke up the lady. That lady eventually passed away. She went to court, she took it to trial. However, the jury deliberated for only 1 hour. People, whenever you see the jury deliberate for 1 hour in a serious case such as murder, you know that it was a foregone conclusion. You were guilty as sin. Such is the case in this case. She was sentenced to life without any sorts of possibility of parole. Moral of the story is that you took a life and then they take away your life, especially in a serious state like Florida. These people need to check themselves, meaning a lot of these Jamaican women, them have a tendency, them have a culture that they like to fight men or fight women over men. The man is not with her. They used to have a relationship, but they broke up. She was actually pregnant when she left from her place in New York, went to Florida to confront this lady. So now the child that she has is going to be delivered in a prison. And then that lady is gone, leaving her family members, and you heard that the family members were also in a court. People, it makes absolutely no sorts of sense to fight over a man or fight over a woman, or take away the life of a man or a woman for a man or a woman. Makes no sorts of sense. This lady learned the hard way. I hope that all of you aspiring Tegaregs out there that like to fight women or fight men over men or women will learn from this. Take sleep and mark, you know what. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called, the kettle is calling the pot black. Better yet, the remix. Thief don't like to see thief with long bag. So we saw that Jamaica was under pressure from Hurricane Melissa Category 5. And we saw that a lot of persons were donating locally, internationally. A lot of persons were contributing to the Hurricane Relief Fund. And we saw that money was being sent mostly to the government, relevant authority. And some money was said to have been sent to the PNP, People's National Party, through some sorts of GoFundMe. Well, people, it seems as if persons from the PNP and persons from the JLP, they are playing the blame game. And we saw that the PNP opposition, Mrs. Burke, came out and she's saying that we want some transparency as to how this money is going to be spent, who is going to be spending it. We need intricate details. This is exactly what Ms. Burke had to say. So I'm going to let you hear what Ms. Burke has to say, and then I'm going to let you hear what the Information Minister has to say as it pertains to that. Take a listen to what Ms. Burke has to say.
The opposition People's National Party is demanding a robust structure to facilitate the tracking of the government's relief aid. Minister of Information Dr. Dana Morris Dixon announced that the government will be implementing a tracking system for hurricane relief supplies distributed after Hurricane Melissa. Opposition spokesperson Angela Brown Burke says it's important that the details are made clear.
We want to know who are the individuals or entities who got these to distribute, who are the persons or entities that actually distributed them, because you know it can be different, right? Who were they given to? Was the Member of Parliament aware? And we ask if the Member of Parliament was made aware and proof that they were made aware, simply because without that kind of check and balance, anyone can say anything. We also want to know what has been distributed, when and where. And we think that this kind of wholesome information is important to get some kind of confidence in the system of distribution.
So, people, you heard what she said. She's simply demanding what the opposition should demand. They want transparency based on the fact that this is not the JLP funds, this is funds for Jamaica to do what is right so that Jamaica can rebound from a devastating catastrophe. So, people, like I've always said, for every action is an equal and opposite reaction. So I let you hear the side of the PNP. I am going to let you hear the side of the JLP. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
The scale of the devastation prompted a humanitarian relief effort from NGOs, the diaspora, international partners, and celebrities to help Jamaicans rebuild. But the outpouring of support has led to questions about who is getting what and when. The government says it wants to be transparent, and in a matter of days, the public will be able to track how the state is distributing aid.
Within 2 weeks, could be as early as next week, you will have a framework within which to see everything that has come in, all donations that have come, and where they have gone. And I'm very interested in that because I've seen some preliminary data that shows that this notion of partisanship is actually very, very incorrect. It may be partisanship in the other direction. And so when that data comes, you will see exactly which communities, which constituencies got the majority of the aid. The funds in Support Jamaica will be used to purchase building material to support the rebuilding effort. Now that's important because you heard here also that we are going to be doing a lot of the assessments, and Ministry of Labor has already started doing assessments in the field. So they're going out, they're looking at which houses have been damaged, doing the geolocation, they're tagging them, and so we'll be able to know which houses have been damaged. And so the money will be used to buy material that can then be traced to the individuals who have gotten it.
So, people, you heard from the PNP, and like I said, the theme of this, the pot is calling the kettle black. Thief don't like to see thief with long bag. So therefore, we have all sorts of blame game. The PNP is asking the JLP, where is the money? How is the money going to be spent? Vice versa. Everybody's saying that one is playing partisan politics. This one is saying rete, vice versa. But here is a cold, hard facts. If the PNP gets some money, which I know they did, everybody contributing from all over the place, we need transparency on that too. And obviously, the government, the JLP, got a whole bunch of money, beaucoup cash. And we need transparency to that also. That is what the citizens, the residents of Jamaica require, and that is what they should get, nothing short of this. However, when we listen to the JLP, and the PNP has not put out any sort of plan, that is not a plus, that is a minus. They should be held responsible. They should also have accountability. So therefore, that is my disclaimer. When I listen to the JLP and they're promising that there's going to be some sorts of network, some sorts of site that you can go and track it, dollar for dollar, cent for cent. People, I know about computer. I know about programming, and I am saying this does not sound very, very practical. You might get a ballpark, but you're not going to get it. Just like this lady is saying, you can track every cent to where it is coming from, who is the distributor, who is the recipient. People, that takes a whole bunch of logistics. Unless the government of Jamaica has some sort of company that is versed in the technical aspect, then I don't know how the regular average person is going to do that. However, she promised that in 2 weeks' time, we will see some people, like they say, a promise is a comfort to a fool. I bet when we go on this website 2 weeks from now, and yes, people, you will have the opportunity to cuss me in the comment section because you don't understand logistics. But me just say, I am betting, willing to bet, that 2 weeks' time, when we go on this site, this link, we're not going to see what we are promised. At the end of the day, Jamaicans will be disappointed once again because politicians on a whole, JLP or PNP, don't have the skill set, don't have the willingness, don't have the technical skills to do what they are promising. It is only promised a comfort to a fool. Yes, they are going to spend, and yes, some people are going to get help. However, most of it is not going to go to where it is intended to go. A lot of what they are promising and a lot of what they need to do to make Jamaica bounce back simply will not happen, whether you want to believe it or not. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, the burning questions apart from where is the money that was sent to the JLP? Where is the money that was sent to the PNP? We need accountability. We need transparency. The other burning questions, what is the situation as it pertains to JPS? When is people going to get back their light? What is the terms of condition of that 150 million US loan that was given to JPS? How is JPS going to better serve the citizens of Jamaica, and how is the Office of Utility Regulation going to regulate, do their job as it pertains to JPS so that customers, Jamaican residents and citizens don't get gypped, don't get ripped off? So I want you to take a listen, take a look to all of that, what persons have to say as it pertains to those burning questions, and then I'll give my piece.
After Hurricane Beryl in 2024, a number of JPS customers complained about receiving high light bills even though they were without power. And now, after Hurricane Melissa, some customers are worried of a repeat. On Wednesday, this question from PAAC member Nikisha Burchell.
Can customers rely on OUR's support to ensure zero consumption has been built for those who've been out of electricity for now over a month?
In the case of Melissa, what they would have done is, based on the discussions that we have had with them, they would have prorated the estimated consumption based on the number of days of loss of service. So if since October 28th, you were without service for up to 8 days, for example, then they have to estimate your consumption, then they would bill you for say 80% of your previous consumption.
OUR representatives also explained that JPS may give estimated bills if a disruption in the network made it impossible for them to read meters remotely. In the meantime, there were also questions about the $350 million figure for JPS to restore the grid.
Has the OUR conducted, commissioned, or required an audit of JPS's damage claims for Hurricane Beryl or for Hurricane Melissa? Or are we relying completely on what they've self-reported?
The OUR Director General explained that JPS was told how to do the assessment. A distinction is made between engineering assessment and the cost of restoration.
So JPS will appoint assessors on the terms of reference that we have approved. And then those reports will come to us. We will look at that, and we have reserved the right to employ specialists to review those.
Meanwhile, details of the $150 million loan to JPS from the Consolidated Fund are still being finalized. The Finance Minister, however, told Parliament on Tuesday that the interest rate is 5.5%.
Our international partners have indicated that within that package that's announced, there is about $450 million for JPS. And what that will do is allow for our loan of $150 million to be repaid back to us, so we get back the liquidity.
Now, people, truth and the fact is that Jamaica needs lights. Nothing can move without electricity. No sorts of residential, no sorts of commercial, none at all, pure stalling. So therefore, I agreed that JPS needs to come back. Total completion, total work, so that Jamaica, everybody, meaning commercial, meaning residential, can have access to light. Light is life. So therefore, if they don't have the money and Jamaica can aid them, Jamaica should aid them. However, it should be transparent on how they're going to pay back. So we see that it is going to be $150 million at a 5% annual rate, I am assuming. So we hear the JPS say that, yes, they are going to prorate bills. So a person that did not get any sorts of light, whichever period, it is going to be prorated. And yes, they are going to do estimated bills if they don't have physical bills or they cannot physically go and check these meters. Well, people, you and I know, everybody, unless you've been living under a rock, know that Jamaican people are under the burden of JPS, meaning the light bill, electricity bill rate is very high, probably one of the highest in the world. So people, I say this to say that even though you have actual bill smart meter where they can check from a computer, they are still giving you estimated bill. And those estimated bill are usually in the favor of the JPS. And even when you go in and launch a complaint, make a report, if you're going to them 5, 10, 20 times, they tell you they're going to do some sorts of investigation. None of those investigations are ever being done. Bottom line is that you will have to pay, fly high or fly low. They will give you some sort of payment plan, but you will definitely have to pay. So you will definitely get robbed. That has been going on. And what do you expect? When the JPS is going to be in an even higher depth, they are going to steal or rob from us even more. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is the burning question that was asked maybe about a week or so ago when the government announced that it was going to loan the JPS $150 million US. As a matter of fact, 200 million out of the 350 million that they actually need to restore Jamaica back to how it was pre-Hurricane Melissa. So people have their own opinion, whether you're JLP or PNP, you have your own agenda. Persons who are saying that they should not lend them, they should use the money to give back the people them so that the people them can have a roof over them head, rate, lele, and that the government was just putting JPS back into order so that their rich people, business people can get them business running so that they can make money. It was not the benefit of the Jamaican people, meaning the majority people, meaning the poor people. Well, people, I am going to let an expert economist explain exactly what it meant and why JPS should get that money. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
Mr. Cox says the speed at which electricity is restored will play a major role in determining the scale of the economic fallout. Businesses continue to face disruptions as power remains unstable in several areas and households are still struggling to return to normal routines. He warns that delays in restoring electricity could further deepen the financial losses.
As with all of the activities of this nature, is that sometimes the oversight it gets a little blurred with given the rapidity, given the seriousness of the issue involved. So that could be a potential challenge, but the oversight it gets a little blurred with given the rapidity, given the seriousness of the issue involved. So that could be a potential challenge, but at the other side of the coin, you have to get the power restored, because without the power being restored, the economic activity will just basically stall. And that now will create a compounding effect, because if the economy stalls, then obviously unemployment goes up, and then there is a greater pressure on the system and the process.
The Economist also opposes any move for the government to take over the Jamaica Public Service.
I'm a purist when it comes to some things. Government has no business running things like that. Government, you create the environment, create the legislative backbone, as it were, create the governance mechanisms, and let the private sector run this thing. I do not believe in that the state should get into it, because if we go back to when the state actually did control JPS, that is not a pleasant.
So people, you heard what Mr. Joseph Cox said. He is an economist. That would make him an expert on speaking and stuff like that. So he spoke about the necessity of JPS getting that money so that Jamaica can build back its economy based on energy. He also spoke about the possibility, some people saying that the government should take over JPS because JPS is exploiting its license. And he's letting you know that he is in full disagreement with that. It makes absolutely no sorts of sense. The government are not very good in managing stuff like that. It was a debacle when they used to be in control. So therefore, we should learn from the past. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.